Okay. Okay. She must have just had a fight now. Okay, she had a fight. Security guard pulling the other girl away. That's a good thing. Oh, okay, she still got a little dukes up. Now that's a big girl in high school. Told her stop. Oh, she said back up. Oh, and then double slap her. Oh, child. Oh, and got the girl on the floor. Somebody, mom and daddy coming and their uncles and Craig and them. He got to know that. He got to know that. So there's somebody screaming in the background at the top of their lungs because they probably didn't have any expectation that they was going to watch one of their classmates get beat up like that by the security guard. Now, I was a director of mental health at an alternative school, and we worked with all the kids in the districts that got put out of school for behavior problems and other issues. So I know firsthand as a director overseeing the entire middle and high school staff of mental health counselors what this looks like. But I'm going to tell you, kids will roll down on you and do stuff like that. And then when they're in the heat of the moment, they actually going after their target and they're fighting. They think they can fight anybody that comes along. However, we was trained to put a kid and an adult in a chicken wing quick. And that chicken wing means wop, 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 put that arm behind your back. Now, what I will say is I've seen some of the dean of discipline staff at my old school get spit on, teachers getting spit on. They don't care male or female. I mean, hawk and spit. So with the climate of today's world and people getting abused and trying to determine who stayed, who shouldn't have been hit, who should not have been hit. Number one, I'm going to start with the grown folks because we are taking these jobs as leaders. And the head of this thing should be cultivating leaders. And there's a zero tolerance, I understand, for people putting their hands on adults, especially kids at school. And we're there to protect and serve and give your education. However, what I am going to say, parents, when she come home and she show y'all the video and it goes viral, it already has. Before you start saying who put their hands on my child, which, hey, that's what I would say. I'm going to need you to hold your daughter accountable as well. I'm going to need y'all to go down the processes before we buck, because I've encountered a lot of that before. And parents would come up and they would buck and they ain't want to hear nothing because the adult shouldn't have put his hands on my child. They don't care that their child is disrespectful and smacking them at home, cussing around their parents, doing drugs around their parents. And then they expect their kid to turn it off with any other adult that they see or another adult of authority. They don't know how to gauge it because they're children and they have a child mind. So the psychology of being a parent is to disassociate being a friend and knowing how to yield to authority. If they don't yield to your authority at home, understand they're not going to do it at school. It doesn't matter who it is. Now, the security guard, he did tell her, stop, wait, no, don't put your hands on me, stop, wait, don't put your hands on me. And then he commenced to dragging her. That's what he did. He dragged her. I know that it's family and kinfolk, y'all, because we're kinfolk. We get home, we deal with our peoples later. But as we leave out this house and go address this man, we're going to be a united front. But I'm going to tell you, it gets dangerous and it gets fishy. And that's how a lot of people get hurt and unalive, because we riding with our kinfolk. But we got to be able to tell them when they're wrong. And I'm sure that guy probably does not have a job. I don't know if he regrets it. I don't know these people at all. I forget the high school, but I'll try to pin it down there. But at the end of the day, I know he regrets it. It could have been instinct. But for me, it's a shame when you have that many people around and they can't pull that man off. And it's a shame that those children don't know who to pull off. They can't even function beyond their phones because 1,000 people had their phones out. They can't function behind getting the footage. They can't function behind being viral. They can't function in anything other than a social setting like on the screen, not a social climate in a school. And that's what we need to teach our children. Teach them how to have the manners and the behaviors that it takes to coexist in a social environment, in a climate, not on a social setting on social media. It's not going to work, because that's why they sitting here talking to these screens and unaliving one another, because they don't have enough peer-to-peer social time. And so they just act the same way they do behind the screen as they do in person. And that ain't happening, because nobody, the young lady nor the man, supposed to have had their hands put on each other. Girl, you was already fighting. He already did his job and broke it up, and then you assaulted him. Now, what might happen is you might get an assault charge. I'm sure he probably will too. And he might have to relocate depending on her kinfolk. Okay, so I just want to save lives and hold one another accountable. And that is unnecessary. Now, if you ask me what I'd have done as a director of mental health, we probably would have suspended, or there would have been charges brought up on that teacher or that discipline staff. And a lot of them, when they get to hitting kids like that, and when they get to getting all the way in with the fight, they don't care. They already going to get their bag. They already going to clock out. They already know it's a wrap. And I'm gonna tell you, I've been in that situation. I had a girl come with her people, and they came to my job, and they said because I chicken winged her daughter, that was disrespectful, smacking teachers, and she thought she was gonna smack me. It didn't end up that way. I took her in the bathroom, I put her in a chicken wing. I told her this will be my last day. Now I'm gonna continue to talk to you because you're not a threat to me. You're a kid. But these kids are way bigger than us. But I'm going to tell her I am authority. I have 4 children. I am not your friend. I didn't come to work for you to put your hands on me. She went home and lied, and they came back to do their dirty work. But in the end, I had the parents crying and asking me to pray for them at the end because I had to hold them parents accountable. I seen them marching up the street, rolling up their sleeves, and they was getting ready to get it in. And then my boss, he turns around and says, let Avis handle it. She's the crisis management. And the whole staff was upstairs looking out the balcony window at me to see what I was going to do. Well, see, I was used to these types of people on the streets because I'm a little bit from the streets. I know the streets. You understand what I'm saying? So you're not going to come up here and think this going to be just that. You're not going to come up here and think I'm just trying to save my job and I'm not going to protect myself. That's not it. Just like I told your daughter, you hit me today, my last day. Period, point blank. But I had to do my preventative measures that we learned in training, of course. I had to do all of that. It's just not no get on here and do what you got to do and do what you want to do. That's not going to never work. And just like I told the parents, when we got done, her mother and her aunties said to me that she's so disrespectful, they don't even like her in the house and glad when she come to school because she has fought every family member. So why you up here trying to fight me? So see, you need me more than I need you. You thought you was going to do something to me, but I got something for you. So I prayed for her and gave her some resources. Because if not, she's going to find her daughter in jail lumped up. All right, we got to start teaching our kids. I'm just telling you from a once director of mental health and education and leadership that it gets like that. And I don't want that for this baby girl or this man who has his job. But I will say this. Something that stood out was, do he smack his woman? Like, do he smack females like that? I hope not. But he went in. And if he has a daughter that's watching, if his daughter yank away from him or if she swing, is he going to start close fisting her? And is this the message that we're sending? For all those young ladies that was in the hallway? Because you know there's a lot of teen abuse in school. There's a lot of girls and guys getting beat up by their boyfriend or their girlfriend. You know that, right? All right, until next time. This is your girl, Miss Motivational Mogul Mindset, Avis Shree, the Inspire, and this is the Unpopular Opinion Accountability Show. I've been wanting to use this, y'all. I had it for a conference, child. I had to use it as a little props for my little TED Talkish type thing. So yeah, God's love and God's peace to you all.